Hello and welcome to Succah Daf Yehuda. What daf are we on?
Chav Beis Amud Aleph.
Chav Beis and Aleph. We're also going to do Chav Beis and Beis. Because Yehuda is learning this. Mishkan Usher, the yeshiva that he learns in Yerushalayim, Harchot Zvim. They don't learn Daf Yomi. In fact, the Rosh Yeshiva put up a sign. He said, whoever learns Daf Yomi will be thrown out of the yeshiva. Right?
No.
They didn't say that? Oh, wow. From yeshiva. A lot of yeshivas is very known in a lot of yeshivas. They don't like when Bachram learn Daf Yomi.
So in my yeshiva, but they didn't say they're gonna throw it out.
They don't like it there, right? They don't like it
They
because
they wanted to show on the
yeshiva's mesachta. They don't feel it
They wanted
takes
to
away.
show the yeshiva.
Yuda, whatever. I have a proposal that all yeshivas should learn the Daf Yomi. The Achdus and Klal Yisrael, remember? All the Balabatim are learning Daf Yomi, right? So all the Bnei Yeshiva should join them together and everyone learn Daf Yomi, right?
No.
Yehuda, imagine in how many years you were in Yeshiva Gedolah so far. Yeshiva Gedolah is after high school. 5 years. In 5 years, you could have learned 5/7 of Shas. Most of Shas. 3/4 of Shas you could have learned. And what do you have to show for it? How many Masechtas have you learned? See, the jury's out. Listen, the case is closed. This is a pasha suggestion. All right, we're going to start from the Chav Beis and Aleph. Sukkah meduvlelas. Sukkah meduvlelas. We'll see what that means in the Gemara. But it's still some ruba mechamsa. Or what?
It's on Nia Amabulbes.
Very good. Yeah. You would have looked in the Gemara before this
I learned this today. Really?
You looked at it today?
Yeah.
Why are we learning Sukkah today?
I learned it from my friend.
Why Sukkah?
That's what he said.
He wants to learn Sukkah. Okay. You learned this. Unbelievable. Ashkacha Pratis.
Yeah,
Yehuda, remember from other shirim, has Ashkacha Pratis and all his actions. His whole life is filled with Ashkacha Pratis, including today's daf.
Yeah.
So Shilzim Arum Chams. The Mishnah says Kshera. If there's more shade than sun, it's kosher. Like we learned in Daf Beis that if there's more sun than shade, then it's possible. Amuva come in bias. It's very thick. The schach is filled up entirely. Even though you can't see the stars from through the schach is so full. It's like a real roof. Near mitocha kshera, it's kosher. The Gemara asks, "My meduvlelas. What's meduvlelas?" I'm a Rav. Sukkah aniya. Sukkah, it's poor. A poor sukkah.
There wasn't a lot of schach.
Right, not a lot of schach. There's Shmuel Amar Kana Olav Kana Yord. He says it's a regular sukkah. You just have one schach here and one schach a little higher. One schach here.
Yeah, there wasn't three.
Uneven. We'll see. 3 tefachim.
Yeah, there wasn't three tefachim.
Don't jump the gun, Yehuda. Don't jump the gun. Wait. The beauty of Daf Yomi is waiting for the right moment. All right. So the Gemara says, Rav Tanicha, the Shmuel Tanicha. Rav learned our Mishnah as one thing, and Shmuel learned it as two things. Rav Tanicha, the Sukkah Miduvlelas. Our Sukkah is talking about Sukkah Miduvlelas. My Miduvlelas, what Miduvlelas? Miduvlelas is just another way of saying Miduvlelas from Dal, Lashon of poor. Shasil Samru Mechamsa, it's the same thing. Sukkah Miduvlelas is still Samru Mechamsa. It's where it's patchy, it's poor, it's lacking a little sach, but still it has more shade than sunlight, therefore it's kshera. Shmuel Tani Tarti. Shmuel learned our Mishnah two different cases. Ma'amiduvlelas, mivulvelas. It's mixed up. It's mixed up. But Tarti Katani, Sukkah mivulvelas kshera. Shilsim rumichamsa kshera. And we're going to see what mivulvelas, he says, like he said before, kana olav kana yori, means it's uneven, the schach. Amar Abai, lo shanu ela she'im bein zelazeh shlosh tvachim. Shmuel said, Sukkah mivulvelas is kshera. So Abai is quantifying that. He's saying it only applies when there's less than 3 tefachim between the uneven parts of the schach. If the uneven part of the schach, the higher part of the schach, is 3 tefachim or more, psula. It's possible because you don't have lavud. I'm a rava. This is another chesh. If the higher schach does not have a tefach width, then you wouldn't say you would have to be within 3 tefachim. But if the higher schach has a width of a tefach, shera. Now, Amriyan chavat rami. We say chavat rami, right? What's chavat rami?
Take it down.
Take it down. Chavot, right?
Rami nemata.
Rami is like you throw it down.
So if it has a tefach, so also
So if it has a tefach, you're able to throw it down. If it's not a tefach,
Also, if there wasn't more,
even if it's more than 3 tefachim, even if it's 10 tefachim,
it's okay.
20 tefachim, you can throw it down if it has a tefach.
What means the tefach in the kanel lemata?
Yeah, on the mala.
The kanel lemala?
Yeah. I'm a Rav, where do I know this from? The Chiyas Bei Tefach Amir Chabad Rami. Chiles Bei Lo Amir Chabad Rami. This Nan, Koros Habayis, Valiyah. You have a case of Hilchos Tuma and Olos, where you have the beams of the house. She'en Aleim Ma'aziva. They don't have plaster on them. Mehin Mechuvanos. They're even, meaning not like Shmuel's case. Tuma Tachas Achas Mehen Tachtea Tame. If there's tuma underneath each one of the beams, so whatever's underneath it is tummy. Bein tachton el yona. If there's a space between the top beam and the lower beam, but they're on the same, they're right above each other. One is above each other. Beinei and tame. Whatever's in between them is tame. Al gabe el yona. If the tuma is on top of the top one, keneged al rakia tame. From there going up to the sky is tame because tuma goes all the way to the sky. Hayu Elyonos Kibena Tachtonos, Tuma. If the Elyonos were like our case in the Mishnah, according to Shmuel, that the Elyonos were not even. Tuma Tachtein Tachas Kulan Tame Agabein Knegda Alakia Tame. We said. Tuma tachtein. If tuma is underneath them, then everything's tame. Al gabein, on top of it, until you go into the rakia. When each of the beams is a tefach and it has a tefach in between them, meaning the ones that are uneven also have a tefach. If the ones on top of them don't have a tefach, tuma tachas man tachtea tame. The tuma is underneath it, only underneath it is tummy. Beinei and Magabein tahor. But Beinei, and if the beams are on top of each other, so only so then Beinei and Magabein tahor, then it acts as a roof, the top one, and it's not tummy. We don't say that everything becomes tummy, even something that's not directly underneath it. If there's a tefach, then we say you throw the beam down. It's one roof. Therefore, anything underneath it would transmit tumah to anything underneath the whole roof. Shmamina. Yasser of Kahana become Rav Ashi. Kahana was saying this shmua, this teaching. Amalei Rav Ashi Rav Kahana v'chalichad leis beitevach l'amrin chavod Rami. There's no tefach. We don't see chavod Rami. But Tanya Korah yotze mikosel zeh v'nagaz b'kosel zeh. If you have a beam that's coming out of one wall and doesn't touch the other wall, v'chin shtei koros achas yotze mikosel zeh. Ones each are coming out of opposite walls, coming together. If they're within 3 tefachim of each other, right? It's talking about a korah, right? That has machshir mab mavoy. If it's 3 tefachim, then you have the korah acheret. Come here, Sivia, for a second. I want to ask you something. Come here. My daughter wants to say hi to the camera. She doesn't want to come. Sivia, come. Let's be a special guest. Sivia, now you. All right, Sivia doesn't want to be part of it. My daughter wants to just watch, but not be part of the share.
Go give it the bug.
If it's 3 tefachim, so you don't say love it, you have to bring another beam in order to join the beams. On top of chav beis is palchos me'arba in tzarich lahavi korah acheres. If it's less than 4 tefachim, you don't have to bring another beam. Arba, if it's 4, tzarich lahavi korah acheres. He holds love it is 4 tefachim. Also, korah has to be strong enough to hold a brick. Now a brick is 3 tefachim by 3 tefachim. So if you have 2 small beams, and each one can hold a brick, if each one of them is a half a tefach, combined together they'll be a tefach, and therefore you could hold a half a brick, which is 1.5 tefachim wide. If it could hold it, then it's kosher. If not, you have to bring another korah. Shmuel says if the beams don't have to be next to each other, kula, Shmuel will say, beams don't have to be next to each other. if they can hold a brick lengthwise, shloshes tefachim, then you don't have to bring another beam. If they're not strong enough to hold lengthwise, then you have to bring another korah. You achas lamala, achas lamata. If one beam was on top and one was on the bottom, you look at the basically as it's even. You take the higher one down and lower one up. Basically, you say chavod rami. As long as the top beam is not above 20 amos. We said 20 amos, a korah is possible. And the bottom one can't be less than a star because less than a star is also possible korah. But if they're within 20 amos and above 10 tefachim, you would say chavod rami. Even though there's not a tefach. You have to interpret what the Brisa meant to say. The top one can't be above 20 amos. And the bottom one is within 3 tvachim of the top one. Alternatively, you can have the bottom one less than 10 tvachim. It has to be above 10 tvachim. And the top one is next to it within 3 tvachim. But if it's more than 3, then since there's no tefach in the kura, so therefore we wouldn't say chavet rami. Yehuda left. Where'd you go, Yehuda?
There.
There? Where'd you go? Yehuda takes care of private matters privately. He doesn't talk about his what he does with his time. Yehuda is known to. He likes to go golfing, actually. So he was just, he purchased some golf balls.
No.
You didn't purchase golf balls?
No.
Oh, okay. Yehuda likes to play golf.
I don't like to play golf.
I don't think there is a golf course here in Israel. Is there a golf course in Israel? Where are the golf courses here?
No.
Alright, maybe Herzliya. Alright. The Gemara continues. The Brisa says, V'shil samaruba mecham sakshera. The Mishnah says that if there's more shade than sunlight, it's kosher. So we can infer from the Mishnah that if it's exactly equal and it's possible. There's a question about Nan Bidach Pirka in the first Mishnah Masechta Shechamsa Rumisilsa Psula. It's possible if you have more sunlight than shade. That's exactly equal. Imagine exactly you measured exactly the same amount of sunlight as shade. It's mash from the Mishnah. Then it'll be kshera. Daf Bezam and Aleph. So is it possible or is it kosher when you have even? Low kasha. Kan mil mala, kan mil mata. On top, you really have to have what? You have to have more shade than sunlight. And if it's equal on top, it's possible. But mil mata, you could have it even because if it's even on the bottom, that means there's going to be more shade on top. Right? The Gemara says, a small coin on top produces a big coin of on the bottom. If you have a small coin of sunlight, there's a coin the size of sunlight. On top, it's going to produce a big coin on the bottom. There'll be more sunlight on the bottom as the sun generally spreads more than shade. So therefore, it has to be more on top. The Mishnah, which says that you have to have silsa meruba mechamsa, that's talking about on top. And the one chamsa meruba misilsa is psula, but the other ninu is kshera. That's the first Mishnah Masechta. That's talking about on the bottom of the floor of your sukkah. Uva kimin bias. No. Uva kimin bias. I'll be come near me socha kshera. Hi, I want to ask you something, Sylvia. Here's my daughter, Sylvia. She is the light of my life. She lights up my life. She lights up my life, especially at night when she wakes me up every 5 minutes, crying that she needs mommy to come to take care of her. Right, you're the light of my life, Sylvia. Sylvia is 3 years old. What are you turning next year? How old are you going to be next year? What do you want for your birthday? All right. For your birthday present next year, Sylvia, you'll be in place of Yehuda. You'll sit here next to me. You'll sit here. We'll have a share together. You can't drink a beer. We'll give you some apple juice, okay? All right. So, we're talking about muva coming by. Is obviously near mitocha kshera. If it's very thick, even though you can't see the stars, it's kosher. Ain't kol klei your misocha. What's kol klei Yehuda? Stars of the sun? It's a hard Gemara to understand. I didn't know there were stars during the middle of the day, but apparently there are stars in the middle of the day, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a lot of sunlight, the article says strong rays of sunlight, Beishai posts, and Beishai says it's possible. If you can't see anything, any light even during the day, it's possible. Yitzhak says it can be as thick as you want. Okay, we'll start the next mission. You make your sukkah on top of a wagon or on top of a boat. Ksher is kosher. But old Nabi Yom Tov, you can go on Yom Tov. No problem going on a boat or a wagon. Barosha Ilan al Gabe Gamal Ksher. If you put it you support your sukkah on a tree.
No, it's talking about that it doesn't move like on spinner.
Are you sure about that?
That's what I think.
Where does it say that? Where is Toshi getting that? Tosis Rashi says exactly the opposite. Even though it moves, it's not kavah. Rosh Hasfina, Shumakum Gavo, Shalsfina, Vayam Gavo.
Just kiva. So it's not like the shit that said there's kiva.
So we're going to see exactly. It's machlokas in the Gemara. We see Kiva and
Gamliel. It's not problem to go on the spin on Shabbos.
If you're on the boat on Shabbos before Shabbos started, you can't go. Go onto a boat on Shabbos. I don't think. I think you can go on the boat. You just can't. You can't leave the dock. You can go onto the boat. You can't leave the dock. But if you put something in their boat before Shabbos, you could a makom in the boat, then you could go on the boat before Shabbos. So Yehuda, when he goes on his carnival cruises, he makes sure to leave what do you leave, like your dog over there? You leave your dog on the boat. What's your dog's name?
I don't have a dog.
You don't have a dog? He leaves his
Only Kala. Ali is there.
He leaves his briefcase. What do you have in your briefcase? He leaves his briefcase on the boat.
And you load them as a briefcase and load them as a
briefcase. Something like this.
As
a briefcase, you carry important papers in there. Okay. Yehuda doesn't go on boats. Actually, me and Yehuda, we once went with my brother-in-law. We went to this place in Akko. They had a boat ride with Arabs. They're playing Arabic music, and the boat was driven by an Arab, and it was a crazy ride. I'm telling you, they were taking the boat and they were turning it on the side. It is a true story, right? It was very scary. Me and Yehuda were sitting in the front. There was this Arab guy.
I felt that every minute I'm falling into the water.
I was soaked. My whole body was soaked. And then my brother-in-law bought us ices afterwards. He takes us on. He almost killed us. He almost killed us on this boat ride, where we almost fell into the water like 10 times. And there was no life. We didn't have a life jacket on. And then, did we have a life jacket on? We weren't even wearing a life jacket.
Yeah.
I don't remember. And then he gives us ices afterwards. Come on. He takes us all the way out to Akko and gives us ices. Just to give us an ices.
He didn't know, really. He didn't know.
He didn't know.
He didn't know. He took someone. He had someone. He brings someone if stuff in his that someone had stuff that it can't have water on it. So he has to drown before if you get water. So he said no. He's Arab. That's what he said.
He said you don't get a lot of water, but really you get drenched. And it's kind of crazy. The boat, it's like a motorboat. It goes on its side like this.
Yeah, that's why. That's why he took us today.
I actually said the entire Sefer Tehillim on the boat ride.
Really?
I don't have a Tehillim with me. The boat ride was only 10 minutes. How are you gonna say the Sefer Tehillim?
You said Tehillim?
I didn't say Tehillim. No. No, I don't do that. I mean, I've said Tehillim before in my life. Actually, I got my shidduch because I said Tehillim. I followed a potion by Rav Sternbuch recommends. It's in the Kabbalah Svarim. You're supposed to say Tehillim every day or something like that and give Succah. I don't know. Kind of crazy, but it did help me get my shidduch, so I guess there's something to it.
So it's that, yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. You're wrong. No, you're not wrong. You didn't learn this yet. Tomorrow. Okay. Barosha Ilan al Gabe Gamal. Let's say you make your sukkah on top of a tree. It's supported by a tree or on top of a camel, right? You go You go to the camel store.
Shiro,
Buy a camel.
and you're not allowed to go on
Ain't
it
all
and
Yom
Yom
Tov. You can't go on Yom
to
Tov. Why can't you go on Yom Tov? You can't lean on a tree. Why not? Because you're gonna take off the branch, and you can't ride on an animal on Shabbos. Why not?
No, the animal is because Shemay Tolish.
And also the tree is also the same reason. You're gonna take off a branch.
Yeah, but
The animal, you're gonna take the branch off, and you're gonna whip the animal, right? Right. But if also a tree, you can't lean on a tree. You can't ride a tree because you might detach a branch.
Why you not gonna bring a bench? Because it's
It's Kotzer.
Yeah, Kotzer.
Shemitah's coming up, Yehuda. You gotta know this stuff. Kotzer is a malach on Shemitah also. Go ask some shilas. Listen, you gotta go to Rabbi. Who's the Rav here? What's this? Shulman. Rav Shulman. Go to Rav Shulman. Sit down. Have a chavrusa by Hilchos Shvius. You gotta know this stuff. I don't even make all this stuff.
We need the chavrusa
Once every 7 years.
We need the chavrusa together.
I don't have time. I barely have time to sleep.
You have a lot of time.
I'm running after Shmuel, trying to get him to come to my shir. He's very elusive.
You have a lot of time. Don't worry.
Shmuel's very elusive. All right. And Yehuda's going back to yeshiva soon. Shtayim be'ilan achas b'dei adam. If two of the walls are supported by a tree and one of the third wall is supported by a person put another piece of wood there to stabilize it. Or shtayim b'dei adam achas be'ilan. Or two were made stabilized by work of a person, and one wall is supported by the tree. Kshera, on Yom Tov, you can't go on Yom Tov. It's kosher. So if you went in it on Yom Tov or in Chol Moed, it would be kosher. Shalosh b'dei adam achas be'ilan kshera v'onla b'Yom Tov. It's three because why?
Because there wasn't a chashad to break.
Because it's not supported by the tree. You have three walls supported through wooden supports.
So what the tree do?
The tree is not. It's Messiah ain't bo mamish. You heard of this? Is a sugi. I'm telling you, this is what the really means over here. Messiah ain't bo mamish is a sugi in Shabbos on Daf. Yehuda.
Kuf.
Close. No. Sadi.
Tzadikei. Tzadidal.
Close. I think it's Tzadidal. Tzadidal or something yellow. I don't know. It's close. One of that area. Check it out. Zakal koshin yinatal ilan v'yichol la'amod b'fnei asma kshera v'ola b'yom tov. Anything that any way you make it, that if the Elon were not there, you can go on the Sukkah, and it's kosher, and you can go on Yom Tov. But if you need support, right? If you need support, the third wall needs support by a tree, then you can't go on Yom Tov. If you want to be Yom Tov with Yavad, you be Yotzei. Also on Chol Moed, you're allowed to go on it.
Who said that you could be Yotzei with Yavad?
Because it's only this is the Rabbanan, so some they weren't Ma'akiv, your mitzvah d'oraisa, Sukkah. It's hard for the Rabbanan to be Oker and mitzvah d'oraisa. Right? Right? Except the Rambam. What about the Rambam? He says that if you're sitting on the edge of your sukkah and your head and your body, right? And we said there's a gzeira, the gzeira that Rabbanan Beisol says, Shema Yimasha, you can't have your table inside the house and your body inside the sukkah. It's a gzeira the Rabbanan. If you do that, according to Beisol, the Rambam learns that you're not Yossi mitzvah d'oraisa of sukkah. How could it be that Rabbanan were Oker, gzeira the Rabbanan, they're Oker mitzvah d'oraisa?
No, it's kein d'oraisa. Come the Tuk and Rabbanan kein d'oraisa, the Gemara says.
It's a shver kasher, but
no, the Gemara says come the Tuk and Rabbanan kein d'oraisa.
Yeah, I know, but it's not d'oraisa. It's not really d'oraisa.
What's kein d'oraisa?
How could the Rabbanan remove something that you're Yotzei from the Torah, the time of creation? You're Yotzei. The Rabbanan came after that. They don't have the call to do that. All right, think about it. Get back to me. Have a good night. Bye.